Hey, welcome back to our new Christmas series. We call it New Nazareths. Today, I'm happy to share with you a cool little poem written by Father Fernando Camou, and it's called The Silence of God. It's about an experience he had where he was on a retreat and had this conversation with this monk, and some pretty amazing stuff happened. So enjoy, New Nazareths.
I sat down in retreat with a monk friend of mine. I related thoughts of depression and doubt. He said, "Do you know what God's response is to our doubts and depression?" I said, "No." He said, "Christmas." And out the scriptures he read. See, I was in Ohio on a spiritual retreat. It was winter. I had spent 2 days just in prayer. I longed for closeness. I wanted the Lord. But I had given up on feelings and miraculous healings from my wounds and weaknesses. All I sought was a sign simply to see his face. It was high noon. The sky was dark gray. The air was bone-chilling. I looked, listened. The silence of God was searing, acute, severe. All I want is to see your face, God. I've given you hours, 2 days. Nothing's changed. Are you listening? Do you care for my thoughts? My thoughts are everywhere. I can't handle the noise. It's like chalk on the board, like howling wolves in the night. Then a deep bell in my thoughts bonged out so clear. Do you even exist? Scoffing at God is a feeling like freezing, coatless outdoors, yet having no desire for warmth. And the child of doubt is self-loathing, defeat. What a childish want to see God. I'm pathetic. I fancy, as we read the scriptures, St. Joseph, feeling similarly. How ridiculous am I for trusting God in this task? We've wandered through Egyptian desolation, hiding like fugitives, destitute and in need. Now I can't even find a human abode for my wife, child, and me. Rejected, unable. We're just here in a stable amid putrid smell. Animal stench. What the hell? Maybe it's just what he wanted. At some point, doubts and depression lead to thinking of God's existence as a deplorable thing. If you exist, I don't want to be close to your disinterested, distant, absent fatherhood. I spoke these thoughts to this monk friend of mine, a quiet angel who listened and proposed a new thought. You're judging yourself, much loathing. You see yourself as weak and childish. Why not ask God to show you an image of his perspective on seeing you? Fine, thought I. I'll focus just on one infuriating and frustrating inquiry for a moment. God, how do you see me? It stopped snowing. The white snow and gray clouds gave way to sheer black darkness. Well, God, what say you? Out of the dark night, a silhouette of a memory I saw. It's my nephew, newborn, resting on my chest. Yeah, I remember my sister entrusted him to me to care for just a morning. This little guy was so at peace in my arms, peace in my arms. His tiny arms stretched out across my chest, his warm body tight, burned a memorable warmth in me. I can feel it now. His white onesie like a bright layer of snowfall. I can't help but smile at thinking of this scene. Yeah, a new flood filled my mind. Silence. I was still, just gazing at his quiet sleep. The warm silence of his presence I can still feel. All concern, thought, and worry, just a vague snow flurry. Oh, I get it. You've shown me how you see me. This kid is me. You don't take me seriously. You care no more for my thoughts than for the irrational, underdeveloped musings of an infant. Is it so? Suddenly, the response finally came. A foreign thought, clear as day, shot across my mind. I couldn't believe it. I could barely understand it. He said, "That's not you. It's me. It's my son. I entrust him to you to care for. Would you just hold him for me?" So as we listened to the scriptures, I saw Mary. Quite certainly, she stood silent and still as the shepherds sang and shouted in loud praises, and the angels tooted horns to hymns. She stood dumbfounded, deep in pondering. A wonderful thought. What's it mean? You entrust me with divinity to love and hold? What does this say of me? See, God's silence is real. It's because his word became unutterable flesh. And he's right in the thick of it all of it. Could I care for him there? He sees so much more than panic and despair in his people. Our weakness he identifies with, and it is present even there. In me, someone he entrusts with his son, he sees. Whatsoever you did for the least of my brethren, you did for me.